target to our knuckle, so they'll go and bump her knuckle with their nose. That's really, really helpful because it is breeding season and all of our otters are super hungry this time of year, which means they are all wanting a bunch of food. So as you can imagine, 3 young boy otters are going to want all the food for themselves. So if we can get them organized and separated a little bit, it's going to help us make sure that they all get their fair share of their meal. Another behavior Kathleen can ask our otters to do is to present their front paw. So that will look like them just sticking out their front paw for her to look at. It's really, really cute of them to do and also very helpful because that helps us get eyes on their paws to make sure they're in good, healthy shape. The third thing you may see Kathleen ask them to do is we can ask them to stand up on their hind legs, which she's asking for right now. And then we'll stand up and that will show us the other sides of the front paws. It'll show us the undersides of their bellies, and then their back toes actually spread out when they stand up like that, so we can see in between their toes. As you can imagine, river otters are very low to the ground. They're pretty much always moving unless they're napping in their favorite spots, and or they are swimming. So it's not the easiest to get eyes on every part of their body unless we ask them to show them to us. So this is really, really helpful to make their care a lot easier. They will just show us the different parts of their bodies and we can make sure they are in good, healthy shape. You will see 3 young male otters in this exhibit. Our youngest 2 are Clayton and Pascal. Clayton is 4 years old. He's our youngest, and he is also our only otter that we got out from the wild. So he was originally born in the wild, but when he was very, very young, he was in a bit of a car accident. He was not the driver, so it wasn't his fault, no worries. But unfortunately, he did have a minor spinal injury, and his mother was nowhere around. So he needed a little extra care from humans. And so he was taken in and rehabilitated, but by the time he was old enough to live on his own, he was a little too familiar with people, and so he needed to remain under the care of humans. And so that is why we have been very, very lucky to get to care for him. If you want to pick out Clayton from the group, he is going to be our thickest otter. One of our coworkers likes to say that he is extra fluffy. I will let you know it's not necessarily fluff, he's just a little thicker. And that is okay. But despite being a little thicker, he's also our most acrobatic otter. So if you ever see an otter climb up to the right of Kathleen and walk across this top area and then dive into the water like an Olympian, that is going to be Clayton. Neither of the other 2 boys have ever been seen doing that. Clayton really just likes to do that. We didn't teach him how to do it, it's just something he started doing all on his own. So if you see an otter do that, it's Clayton, and it's really, really fun to watch. Our second otter is going to be Pascal, who is, I believe, 5 now. He is our most people-oriented otter, so if you see an otter chasing someone up and down at the glass, or even if you see an otter when they're not hungry who likes to come join us over where Kathleen is, even if they're not having a snack, that's probably going to be Pascal as well. Easiest way to tell Pascal apart from the group, other than the fact that he loves being at the glass, it does look like he is the one up there right now, is if you look at everybody's noses, his nose is going to come up to a really fine point. It looks like a spade on a playing card, whereas the other 2 boys' noses are rounded on top. So if you see a pointy nose, that's going to be Pascal. Also, if you see an otter doing spins in the water where they grab hold of their back leg and just kind of do circles, that is one of Pascal's favorite ways to play around. So that is going to be Pascal as well. There is a big reason why he's so people-oriented. So he was, unfortunately, his mother was not able to care for him properly. So at about day 2, he was hand-raised by humans. So basically from birth, he's been really, really familiar with people. So he is kind of halfway between the otter world and the people world. I like to say we don't know if he thinks he's a person or if he thinks we're otters, but he's definitely got a really unique perspective on life. So because of that, he was originally considered by his keepers for the role of an ambassador animal. So if you're unfamiliar, that would be any animal that would go out into the zoo and meet guests. They may do classes or shows, anything like that. We do have some goats that we walk throughout the zoo, so that would be a great example of an ambassador animal. But that had never been done with a North American river otter, and that is still the case. So he was ultimately denied the job. And that's for very good reason. If you watch our otters for any length of time, you're going to notice they are fighting each other quite a bit. That's perfectly normal for river otters. They have really, really loose skin and really thick fur. So whenever they're nibbling on each other, they're not hurting each other. It's actually a way that they'll communicate with one another. Usually they're just trying to tell each other something when they bite each other. But I don't know about you all. I am not a river otter, so I don't have river otter skin or fur on my body. So there's a really good chance that if Pascal had been an ambassador animal, he may have tried to give us a message by biting us. And so that is why he was ultimately denied the job of an ambassador animal. Lucky for us, that means he got to come hang out with us and hang out with Clayton here at Clayton Otter Creek. And we are really happy to have him. Our third and final otter in this exhibit is going to be Reed. Reed is our oldest at 6 years old. He's kind of like the big brother of the group, although these boys are not related to one another. If you want to pick out Reed from the group, I will admit he's usually the one I find last. I usually find the other two first, and then I find Reed third because he's the third one. However, if you do get a good look at their fingernails, Reed is going to have really, really short nails. Everyone else has really long nails in this exhibit, but Reed loves to dig. And digging is going to be wearing down his fingernails every single time he digs, so he keeps his nice and short. So if you happen to get a good look at those, that's going to be Reed with the shortest nails. And when I say short, they are substantially shorter than the other two boys. The other two boys have beautiful long nails, so it's pretty easy to pick out as long as you get a good look. We do have a fourth river otter on grounds. Her name is Mayhem. She lives up the hill at the other otter exhibit. She is about 15 years old. Under human care, these guys can live up to around 20 years old is a normal life expectancy. So we say she's getting into old lady territory for a river otter. A lot of people ask if we would ever bring her down here, and that's going to be a big no for a few reasons. Number one reason is she does not want to be down here. She has been offered roommates over the years. She has kicked all of them out. She's not looking for company, especially these young rowdy boys. We say these boys would be kind of like taking your grandmother to a frat house. She's probably going to think it's a little too noisy, probably not going to sleep very well. So she is just hanging out up there. She wants that solo retirement life.